In this video, we're going to discuss how do you get the current time in Python. Now, my number one advice here is embrace time zones. A lot of the stuff I read on the internet was, I don't worry about time zones. I just do it without time zones. Well, you need to embrace time zones. I learned this the hard way when building an online trading system. You don't know what time it is unless you know what time zone you're in. Market start and stop hours for the U.S. Stock Exchange are on U.S. Central Time, not UTC time, and U.S. Central Eastern Time has daylight savings, which means that it changes depending on the time of year. And if you don't have time zones in all your time calculations, you will be off. You'll miss the opening of the market, or you'll run an hour later than you need to. So, in the documentation, it says that date and object are categorized as aware or naive, depending on whether or not they include time zone information. So don't be a naive programmer. Be an aware programmer. Be time zone aware. Now, we're going to start with old school first because this is what I was familiar with up until doing this video. And this is actually the second version. I went back and read the documentation and learned some new things that I'm going to share with you here. So, old school, you would use pytz, which is an external library, not built in. And you would import time zone. And then you use date time from the date time library. Now, that is a built-in module. And here we go. You do date time now, passing in a time zone. And I said U.S. Central because that's where I'm at. And that pulls back the date and the time all the way down to the milliseconds. Now, what makes this problematic is when you go to platforms like AWS and Lambda and you just want to do something simple like, is the market open? Is the market closed? Well, because you're using pytz, it's not built in. And now you've got to put another layer on there or put all that code into your project, which then may mean you can't actually see it in the online editor. So I was really happy to learn that in Python 3.9, zoneinfo module was introduced, and they are taking over the pytz. pytz developers are like, thank goodness, we're going to let the Python core take care of this. And so you import zoneinfo from zoneinfo. And then it's the exact same call, except instead of time zone, it's zoneinfo US/central. Now, how do you know what time zones are available? Well, you can print out zoneinfo available_time zones. And there are a lot of them, 596 to be accurate, as of the time of this film. And keeping track of when all those times are, and do they have daylight savings times? Do they not have daylight savings times? I'm glad someone else is doing it because that is a lot of work. Okay, so, but, what if I don't need the date part? Well, Python has you covered there. All you have to do is print time out from a current date time, and it will give you the time right here. So here I did America, New York, which was, from my programming that stock trading system. And out of that, I get the time, which is an hour ahead of where I'm at in Central Time. Now, that looks pretty ugly, Will. Can I make it look better? Yes, you can. So they have user strf time, string format times with directives. So let's go take a look at this. And they have in the documentation all these different letters that will print out all kinds of things. Everything from, short day names to long day names, months, everything. Everything you would want. So you just have to look in the documentation. So here we're going to do two different ways, capital H, capital N to get the hour and the minute, and then we're going to tack on seconds. And let's run that right now. And so it's 1050 or 1050-58. But you can make it print out any way you want. Hope that's helpful. Please subscribe if you haven't. Click like down there. It really helps me build an audience for these videos, and I'll see you in the next one.